In the hush of the night, with the moon still aglow, a small baby was born, where the koa trees grow, where lahua blooms bright, where the mo'o give chase, where the ocean sprays kiss, meets the sky's close embrace. With her curls kapa soft, breath like breadfruit so sweet, this dear child evermore shared the island's heartbeat. And with time, how she grew, both in mind and in heart, like the honu, so swift, like the he'e, so smart. Yes, her spirit was fierce, every tide she would brave, with kukui nut eyes, keen to follow each wave. She was special indeed, but the island still knew there was much to be learned by that little girl too. While the mele rang proud, while the pahu drums rolled, men and women stepped forth, watched their stories unfold. They breathed life to the tales with each step and each song, generations of lore that the hula kept strong. And the girl she beheld, a tradition so true. From the hula she learned, from the hula she grew. What did hula teach her? First, she learned that land formed where flames tempered to stone, that the wind, wings, and waves all bore life to be sown. Humble seeds burst to blooms, rock eroded the sand to sand, and a world born ablaze turned to lush wonderland. Now all creatures they roam, those that swim or that fly, from the mountains to seas, or Mauka to Makai. To the wings of a hawk, the young child held on tight as they swept through the air and they soared into flight. From her perch in the clouds, she watched all that had been, while the islands exhaled, breathing out, breathing in. Then said Io to child, to our hyena, be just. When we care for our earth, then our earth cares for us. Look at how beautiful these illustrations are. ancestors once sailed to islands brand new, off to voyage the seas, hailed from places afar. They were masters of winds. They remembered each star. On those journeys they found, where the waves towered high, the unexplored but lands unknown, with a bold battle cry. All the aunties crowd round to talk story and share, while they work through the day and craft kapa with care. They pound cloth from the bark of the mulberry tree, lace together the lei like the stories they weave. Then said Tutu to child, to Ohana, hold fast, pay respect to your kin, both those here and those past. Look at all these beautiful colors. Hawaii is such a beautiful place. What did hula teach her? Last, she learned of the lore, filled with heroes abound, and the trials they faced and adventures they found. There was action, romance in these great tales of old, kept as records preserved to be lovingly told. Like from kalo, tales sprout, they grow strong from the root. Then each time they're passed down, they branch out, they bear fruit. When the girl's dance was pau, she saw something quite strange. Right before her own eyes, she watched maile leaves change. Yes, they twisted, transformed to a beautiful she, and a figure so fair bounded down from a tree. Then said Laka to child, tell the ka'au with pride, on these islands we live, with our lower by our side. From courageous young girl to wahine all grown, she had kept it in her soul, the heartbeat of her home. She discovered anew something deep in her core, a great love for the land and the people and lore. Give aloha to all, fill your heart through and through. That's what hula taught her. What did hula teach you? to the sea, an octopus family got ready for a swim before breakfast. "Time to put on your new hat, baby," said Oka-san. Baby did not like the floppy new hat. The hat was not happy either. As the octopus family set off behind their house, a little mermaid spotted their front door. Kiniro had been drifting in a warm current with her pufferfish friend. "Take care," Puffy warned. "You never know who may live there." "But I'm so curious," she said. Kiniro sashayed towards the seashell house. Inside, breakfast had been set out. There was a great big shell, a middle-sized shell, and a little shell. Kiniro took a bite from the great big shell. "Too crunchy," she said. The little mermaid tried the tender bites in the middle-sized shell. "Too slimy," she said. Puffy could guess what was coming next. Kiniro sidled up to the little shell. In a minute, the tempting tidbit had disappeared. "Just right," she said. "All gone," said Puffy as he wondered whose breakfast it really was. Kiniro floated around the seashell house and saw 3 chairs. There was a big chair, a middle-sized chair, and a little chair. She sat down on the large coral chair. "Too many bumps," she said as she smoothed her scales. Kiniro wriggled into the middle-sized chair. Down she went. "This chair is too slippery," she gasped. The little chair was the prettiest of all, and Kiniro sat on it. "Just right," she said, and she gave her fins a flippery flip. All that wiggling broke the chair to bits. Kiniro was sorry about the pretty chair, but not for long, because in the next room she spotted 3 beds. She and Puffy had been swimming for hours and were ready for a nap. She swam over and settled in. "What sweet dreams we'll have," she told her friend. But someone had been eating in that bed, and there were smashed shells and crab claws all around. "This bed is too messy," she sighed. She flopped down on the middle-sized bed. "This bed is too squishy," she complained. As Kiniro patted her tiara, she spied the last small bed. It rocked like a cradle in the tide. She set her head down on a pillow star and fell sound asleep. Soon, the octopus family returned over the sandy shoals. Right away, Oto-san saw his breakfast shell overturned. "Someone has been crunching on my crustaceans," he said, turning pink. Oka-san huffed. "My breakfast has been splashed." She turned pinkish too. Baby looked around for her breakfast, but all she saw was the upside-down shell. "Someone has been eating my breakfast, and there is nothing left for me," she cried. Oto-san been sitting in my chair, he announced, now even redder. Oka-san went from pink to red when she saw her chair. Who has been squashing my chair and scattering my teacups? She asked. Baby saw her beautiful chair all in pieces. The hermit crabs were taking it. My chair is going, gone, she cried. Sensing something else was amiss, Oto-san squeezed into the bedroom. Someone has been sleeping in my bed. He blasted ocean water and kicked up the star-shaped sand. Puffy felt the ripples as Oko-san jetted toward her bed. The soft seaweed she liked to drowse in was tangled and torn. Someone has been sleeping in my bed, she said. Baby octopus peeked inside her tiny bed. A beautiful mermaid was sleeping there. Someone has been sleeping in my bed, and here she is. The little mermaid opened her eyes and saw the adorable octopus. The baby's eyes were soft and sweet. Her skin was shell pink. Her graceful arms danced. But she was wearing the oddest hat that the little mermaid had ever seen. Kiniro, who didn't like to see anyone unhappy, gasped, "That will not do." She thought about her tiara. Just then, all three octopuses reached for Kiniro and their 24 arms. Puffy was ready. He puffed with all his might. Puffa, puffa, pokety poke, stickety stick. His sharp prickles did not let the octopuses near the little mermaid. Kiniro, Puffy, and their new friend Ray floated away in the warm current. They couldn't stop smiling about the baby octopus. She looked radiant in her beautiful new tiara. The third book we're going to read is The Dress and the Girl. Words by Camille Andros. Pictures by Julie Morsted. Back when time seemed slower and life simpler, there was a dress much like many others, made for a girl by her mother. The dress loved the girl, and the girl loved the dress. They spent each day together, an ordinary girl wearing an ordinary dress. Every day, the same story. They rode in a wagon. They sailed in a boat. They went to school, jumped rope, and played tag. But they longed for the extraordinary, something singular, stunning, or sensational. Instead, life continued on in quite an ordinary fashion, picking daffodils, feeling the wind, and staring at the stars. Then, one day, it came time to leave. They sailed in a boat. They went to school, jumped rope, and played tag. Finally, the dress and the girl arrived. They wondered if now was the time for something singular, stunning, or sensational, for something extraordinary. Instead, the dress was folded up and placed into a trunk. The dress waited for the girl to find her. She waited and waited, but the girl never came. So, the dress set out to find the girl. Alone, she rode in a wagon. She sailed in a boat, but she did not go to school, jump rope, or play tag. Instead, she traveled the world, searching day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year. Each day, week, month, and year, telling a different story. Whilst she searched, the dress thought about the girl, feeling the wind dance with her as was singular. Picking daffodils together had been quite stunning, and staring at the stars, sensational. She missed the girl. The dress was tired. She needed to rest. From her new spot, the dress could see the world all around her. People moved quickly with heads down, passing by on their way to important or not so important places. One day, a woman walked by. She glanced up at the dress and stopped. She did not move quickly down the street. She looked and looked. In that look, the dress and the girl remembered. They remembered riding in wagons. They remembered sailing in boats. They remembered going to school, jumping rope, and playing tag. They remembered daffodils, dancing wind, and starry skies. Every day is its own story. They had found each other at last, and that was quite extraordinary. The last book that we are going to read is a classic. Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the guy who will decide where to go. You'll look up and down streets. Look 'em over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. It's opener there in the wide open air. Out there, things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsie as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew. Just go right along. You'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar in to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang and you'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except when you don't, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say so, but sadly it's true that bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on, and you'll be left in a lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and the chances are then that you'll be in a slump. When you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. You will come to a place where the streets are not marked. Some windows are lighted, but mostly they're darked. A place you could sprain both your elbow and chin. Do you dare to stay out? Do you dare to go in? How much can you lose? How much can you win? And if you go in, should you turn left or right and 3/4, or maybe not quite? Or go around back and sneak in from behind? Simple it's not, I'm afraid you'll find, for a mind maker-upper to make up his mind. You can get so confused that you'll start in to race down long wiggled roads at a breaknecking pace, and grind on for miles across weirdish wild space, headed, I fear, towards the most useless place, the waiting place. For people just waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes and no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting for the fish to bite, waiting for the wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night, or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find the bright places where the boom bands are playing. With banner flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky, ready because you're that kind of guy. Oh, the places you'll go. There is fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame. You'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. Except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too, because you can't win, because you'll play against yourself. Games you can't win, because you'll play against yourself. All alone, whether you like it or not. Alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. But on you will go, though the weather be foul. On you will go, though your enemies prowl. On you will go, though the Hacken cross howl. Onward up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore and your sneakers may leak. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. So, be your name Buxbaum or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai, Ali von Allen O'Shea. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So, get on your way. Well, that's all the stories that I have for today, my ethereal beings. I hope that you had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time listening to these stories. And if you liked what you saw and what you heard, click on that subscribe button down below for more content. Until next time.